painful plea.
Mr. Cruz did not deserve to die.
From the wife of a murder victim who wants justice for her husband. The Brian Flores investigation has the NFL meeting with the NAACP.
Everyone in the meeting understands the sense of urgency and the problem that's confronting us.
As the Fins' new head coach gives his first interview. And cross-country cat.
I had a voicemail from a shelter in Florida that said they found my cat.
A journey of 6 years and 1,400 miles ends in Florida. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Juliana Restrepo.
And I'm Julian Davis. Today is Wednesday, February 9th, 2022.
From the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne Bay Studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
Family in crisis making an appeal for help in finding the person they say killed the Miami man. Police and family members want the public's help this morning to try and find a suspect wanting connection with the man's brutal murder.
The wife of 55-year-old Feliz Rigoberto Cruz spoke at the Miami Police Department yesterday. Her husband was found murdered on Sunday. Detectives later found Angel Jimenez Mejia, the victim's neighbor, as a suspect in the murder.
Mr. Cruz did not deserve to die. We ask for the public's help in calling in any information that you may have regarding the homicide, as well as the whereabouts of Mr. Angel Jimenez. And our message to Mr. Jimenez is to turn yourself in.
Police say Mejia left behind blood-stained clothing that he was last seen wearing by witnesses, but say the motive of the murder is unclear. If you have more information on this, call Miami Crime Stoppers.
Civil rights leaders call on the NFL to replace the Rooney Rule. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell met with civil rights leaders about this rule, which mandates football teams to include minority candidates for job openings, which comes after Brian Flores' lawsuit.
Well, I think it was a good meeting, a start. Everyone in the meeting understands the sense of urgency and the problem that's confronting us. The Rooney Rule has been in place for a long time, and the measurement of that as it relates to head coaches, it has not been as effective as people thought it should be.
The Miami Dolphins hired multiracial Mike McDaniels as head coach, and on Sunday it was announced that Lovie Smith, who is black, will be the new head coach for the Houston Texans.
New things are set for the Miami Dolphins as coach Mike McDaniels started his journey. The network's Anya Joseph has more in the control center.
On Sunday evening, the Miami Dolphins announced their new head coach, Mike McDaniels. The former San Francisco 49ers offensive coordinator had his first sit-down interview on the job, and he seems to be excited to get started.
You look forward to this moment your whole career, and then to be here in this place with these people, I couldn't be happier.
Coach Mike McDaniels is the 14th head coach of the Miami Dolphins franchise, ready to shape up the talent on the team as he comes prepared.
When you get your opportunities such as this, so the best thing each year has afforded me is more reps for this moment, which I'm ready to take on with vigor. The fact that there's a lot of skill, there's a lot of youth energy, but there's also a lot of coaching to be done, which is, I'm not sure if you checked my title, but there's a coach in it. So as a coach, that's all you want. You want the opportunity to build the culture of guys that are willing and able, and it's the best thing that you could hope for, is having a bunch of talent that is ready to go to work, which is all we have and all we're ready to do.
With Coach McDaniels' direction, it sounds like he is a man on a mission to remake the Dolphins and might turn these men into NFL champs after 48 years.
It's something that's inspiring, and that's what we hope to do, is inspire people with our play, and ultimately we want to win football games, and that's what we're going to do.
So graciously said, best of luck to the Dolphins. Anya Joseph from the Control Center, South Florida Media Network.
As NBA's 75th anniversary continues, the list of greats continues as well. Now we have the list of the greatest coaches of all time. The Miami Heat had two on that list, being former head coach Pat Riley and present coach Eric Spoelstra. Jack Ramsey made an appearance as well, as he once worked for the Heat as a broadcaster. A congratulations is in order, as Spoelstra recently has been named to coach Team Durant during the NBA All-Star Game.
The folks at the Smithsonian planning a new photo exhibit, and they want your family photos from Walt Disney World.
That's still ahead, and so is his story.
I said, is it a gray tabby? And they're like, yeah, a female gray tabby. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's got to be Ashes. I haven't seen her in 6.5 years.
A feline found, but questions remain about just where it was for so many years and how it got so far from home. Newsbreak will be back in just 2 minutes.
If a natural disaster shows up at your doorstep, you can't just turn it away. That's why it's important to prepare for emergencies before they show up. Go to ready.gov/plan to find the tools and tips you need. And make a plan today.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
A missing cat found in Florida, but just how long it was missing and from where is surprising. 7 years and 1,500 miles later, how a cat from Maine was found days ago in Florida.
Reporter Brian Sullivan has the story.
Well, I had a voicemail from a shelter in Florida that said they found my cat. And I was like, that's weird. And I was going to call them and say, oh, you have the wrong number. But they called and said, we found your cat. And I'm like, well, I live in Maine and I'm not missing a cat. And they're like, well, the microchip came back to you.
Ashes went missing in August of 2015.
She got out and we couldn't find her.
You know, she didn't come home. They looked for her for quite a while. And they sadly concluded she probably had become prey for a predator.
Janet Williams, who's originally from Maine, now lives in Florida, spent her career in animal rescue.
Her body condition was pretty poor when she was first found. A local couple had seen her as a stray and were feeding her. Her health was declining rapidly, so they took her into the vet, and during the course of treatment, that is when she was scanned for a chip and the truth was known.
So they said, well, the microchip came back to you. And I was like, well, what cat is it? And they said, well, the microchip also showed Franklin County Animal Shelter. I'm like, well, that's where I adopt my kittens. And I said, is it a gray tabby? And they're like, yeah, a female gray tabby. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's got to be Ashes. I haven't seen her in 6.5 years.
So how did Ashes get from Chesterville to Longwood, Florida, 1,448 miles away?
I have interrogated her quite strictly, and she is not talking.
Maybe she accidentally got there because she hopped in somebody's moving van or race car van or, something like that. Maybe somebody found her, near Chesterville and kept her as a pet and moved to Florida, and then somehow she got lost. But whoever had her never registered her or got her microchipped or checked to see if she had a microchip. So it's just really a mystery.
It's really an incredible story, and it truly speaks to the power of a microchip.
Microchips work miracles. It's safe. It doesn't harm the cat. There's no GPS. It's not tracking you or your pet. It's a really quick procedure, and it makes reunification possible.
That was Brian Sullivan reporting. There was a successful GoFundMe campaign and the cat will be flying home later today.
Are you a Disney goer and want to be part of Smithsonian history? The Smithsonian Museum of American History is asking for pictures taken at Disneyland or Disney World for a new project they have. They're looking for pictures from all decades to show how much the park has changed. Candid, pose, and even blurry photos are suitable for submission. Make sure to share part of your story of what the visit meant to you.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Julian Davis.
I'm Julia Restrepo. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.